I watched a white Tesla plow through my front garden like a boat skipping a wake. Bricks popping dirt. Spraying bumper stopping 3 feet from my daughter's window, and my heart just fell out of my chest. 10 minutes later, the HOA president pointed at the rubble and told me I owed the community $500 for creating a hazard, while the hazard itself stared at her through a cracked headlight. What she didn't know was that a lens had watched the whole mess from start to finish, and it was going to talk louder than she ever could. My name is Cal Dalton. I fix things for a living. Swamp coolers, dead lawn mowers, campers that forgot how to be campers. And I usually keep my voice calm, because the world already has enough people yelling. You know what I mean. And we live in Brookstone Estates in Chandler, where the palm trees look like exclamation points, where every mailbox is the same shade of beige, where rules come printed in glossy booklets, and people pretend that means we're all safe. My wife, Ray, keeps the books, and when needed, keeps me from swinging first. Our daughter, June, is 9, and thinks sidewalk chalk is a constitutional right. And that's why I built the low brick wall along the front 3 feet high. 12 inches thick out of fortress, just a line between a kid's bedroom and drivers, who text with their knees. I did it by the book permit. Stamped by a city inspector named Marcos Ibarra. He signed off twice foundation and final. Those little green stickers men like me live for. And I mailed my plans to the HOA Architectural Committee, certified with a number so long it looked like a phone bill. 2 weeks later, nobody said no. So I set my string lines and laid block level enough to sing for 2 years. That wall did exactly what it was built to do. It kept the street on the street, and my kid in her childhood. Then, Saturday morning, 41 a.m., the world made a sound like a jaw-grinding aluminum, and I ran out of the garage, rounded the bougainvillea, and there it was, a white Model Y nose, down in the rosemary, with dust floating in the sun like smoke, and the driver door cracked open, and a teenager in platform sandals stared at the wreck like it was a math problem. Not a home, not a bedroom, 6 feet behind that bumper. She held up her phone and said into the screen, "My car is wrecked. Mom is going to kill me." And before I could ask if she was okay, I heard heels on concrete, and HOA President Denise Porter arrived in a robe and sunglasses phone, up live for her followers, and she circled my broken bricks like a game show host and said, "Illegal structure hazard to the community." We warned him. And I opened my mouth. Ray caught my arm and whispered, "Wait, record." So I lifted our porch cam feed and watched Denise perform. This man is non-compliant, Section 3. Article D. Subsection 9, and the girl, her daughter I'd learn, asked, "Mom, can you just call someone?" But Denise never looked at her. She looked at me and smiled. The kind of smile you draw on a fine, and told me I'd be hearing from the committee. Officer Jenna Ruiz rolled up, wrote, "Inattentive driving at 9:58 a.m. Asked if I wanted to file damage. I looked at June's window and said not yet. And by afternoon, a Brookstone envelope slid under my doormat. Notice of violation, unapproved barrier. Eyesore, 7 days to restore to original state. $100 per day. If I didn't, and I laughed the way you laugh. When a tire blows on a pothole you saw, but still hit. Ray didn't laugh. She opened our filing drawer like a sword from a stone, and we started a folder on the kitchen table called Brookstone Facts Permits, and green stickers, and certified receipts, and sightline photos. I took from the driver's seat at the end of Denise's driveway to clear view. 3 houses down, nobody's sight. Blocked by anything but pride. My temper cooled into a list document, don't argue on the sidewalk, call a lawyer. Before my mouth burns down my case, and on Monday we met attorney Avery Cole. Sleeves rolled, desk messy in a way that made sense. Property disputes are boring until they're not, he said. This is the not, and he laid out a plan. Like a mechanic writing an estimate, deny the nonsense move for dismissal or summary judgment counter, for property damage and fees. And while we do it, they'll try to stretch you stack fines, send letters with painted teeth, maybe toss a pretend inspector at your porch. Smile, shut the door, send me everything, he said, pretend inspector. And I swear the universe wrote it down, because on Tuesday, a man in a polo that said community standards showed up with a home-printed badge and a clipboard. Sir, I am here to examine your non-compliant frontal barrier, he said. Without looking up, and I told him he could examine my gravel from the sidewalk. He tried to wedge a sneaker in my doorway, and I introduced that foot to the concept of torque. Yeah, that happened. He walked off at that speed. Men use when their pride hurts, but they refuse to run. Ray searched his name and found nothing in any registry. We sent the clip to Avery. Witness intimidation with a clipboard got it, he said, and that night, I took an old dead camera, put it in a weatherproof box with a big black wire and a blinking light, mounted it near the broken section. So obvious, it felt like bait then. I tucked a silent trail cam. In the oleander, 10 feet away, motion activated, crisp as daylight. 3 nights later at 11:03 p.m., my phone pinged, and I watched a skinny kid in a hoodie creep toward the decoy and start snipping wire like he was stealing points off a scoreboard. I let him try the box. Then I stepped onto the porch and flipped on the light. Looking for something? I asked, and he froze, cutters dangling, and I held up my phone with a live clip of his face and said, "We can talk to me or to Officer Ruiz with this in her inbox. In 5 minutes, your call," and he said, "Please don't," and told me Ms. Porter offered him $50 to cut the cable on an illegal camera. We walked him home. His parents looked like they'd swallowed nails. He wrote a 2-page confession at their table. They signed as witnesses. I emailed it to Avery before midnight and thought arrogance always brings a friend. Next day, the court portal blinked with an affidavit from our quiet neighbor 2 doors down. Walt Fincher, who trims roses like origami, and he swore he saw me use substandard mortar and brag about it on the phone. Which is funny, because I don't brag about mortar, and I don't take calls when I'm laying block. And Ray pulled audio from our porch cam the morning of the crash, where Walt's off-camera voice blurted the truth he didn't know he'd be cross-examined on. She punched it, never even checked. So I leaned on his fence that afternoon, complimented the roses, asked if he remembered which. Tuesday in May, I supposedly bragged, he stammered. Ray pressed play on his hot mic moment and he went white and said he had to feed the cat. And we sent the audio to Avery, who said they coach lies, but they never coach the weather, or what they sounded like when nobody was listening. Meanwhile, the HOA fines ticked like a meter that wanted a retirement plan. Remove the plywood, restore the frontage pay. To avoid lien. Denise posted in the neighborhood app about community standards and shared fences, and how one household can't endanger the whole. I didn't respond. I took photos labeled folders, told. June, the wall wasn't going anywhere, while Dad still had a spine and a stapler. Then luck or karma knocked at 7:12 a.m. A city sanitation driver named Malik stood on our steps, turning his ball cap in his hands. "You the guy with the wrecked yard?" he asked. I said, "Yeah," he said. "Our truck has a forward cam. I was rolling down your street when it happened. Figured you might want this." And he handed me an SD card, like it was a truth grenade. We watched it at the kitchen counter from his bumper's view. You saw the end of Denise's driveway clean as glass. The Tesla paused. The chin tilted toward phone light. His truck rolled by. The Tesla leapt and ate my rosemary, and I felt my heart harden into something steady. We sent it to Avery with the subject, "You're going to like this." And he filed a motion thick as a phone book. Permits inspection tags with Marcos's scribble sightline photos, with distance markers. The vandal confession. Walt's hot mic, the sanitation cam. Plus a screenshot Ray had grabbed from a neighborhood teen chat at 8:54 a.m. That morning, a friend texted Omaji, "Are you okay? I heard about your car," and the reply said, "I'm fine. Mom says we'll blame the neighbor's little wall. My head is pounding, and if you've ever seen a judge get angry before coffee, well, buckle up." The hearing felt like a dentist office for souls. Soft carpet fluorescent hum. Everyone pretending this was paperwork, not a livelihood. Denise sat in navy with hair sprayed into a verdict. Her daughter folded her hands. Small, their lawyer talked. Slick, unapproved structure. Obstructed sight lines. Community jeopardy. My client traumatized. And Judge Meredith. Cole lifted a palm and said evidence, so he slid Walt's affidavit across, and you could see the lie's white socks under a black suit then. Then Avery stood and moved like a man who trusts file folders. He put the permit and 2 green stickers on the screen. He showed the sight lines. If you can see a blue recycling bin 3 houses down. You can see a car, he played Walt's real-time comment. The room looked at Walt. Walt looked at his shoes. He slid the vandal confession under the document, a camera of parents willing to testify. Objection overruled. Without eye contact, then the sanitation cam rolled, and the room went physically quiet. The chin tilted to light the leap, without checking the crash. No wall could have caused, and when it ended, Avery laid the 8:54 a.m. text on the glass and stepped back. Judge Cole took off her glasses like setting them on a different case. "Ms. Porter, do you understand?" "What fraudulent means?" she asked their lawyer. Said something with community ambiguity, and it died midair. The judge looked at the girl. "You are fortunate. A child is not dead," then back to Denise. "You weaponized process to rewrite physics. Here is what's going to happen. The complaint is dismissed with prejudice. The HOA's fines are void. Your association will reimburse Mr. Dalton's legal costs and repair his property. And this court refers potential perjury and insurance fraud to the county attorney." The gavel cracked and the sound felt old and right. I didn't fist pump. I breathed. We walked into a hallway that smelled like lemon polish, and for the first time in months, my shoulders unclenched. The story could end there, and maybe it should. Except a month from now. There's an HOA election. And I don't know if Denise will resign or run on protecting the community from gardeners with dangerous edges. I don't know if the folks who loved her firmness will like how it felt when it splashed back. I do know. I'll rebuild that wall with better capstones and keep copies of the permit in the drawer. You can open blindfolded. And I'll probably leave 1 trail cam up because arrogance is seasonal, like pollen. So here's my question, and I want you to really wrestle with it. HOAs protect us? Or do some people use the rulebook to bully the folks who keep the porch lights on? And if someone twists process to rewrite what your eyes can see, what should the consequence be? And was mine enough? Tell me your city, and your local time in the comments. Tell me if you've been on the clipboard side or the doorstep side. Argue with me if you need to hit subscribe. If you want more stories from people who got pushed and pushed back and... yeah, tell me what justice looked like on your block.